Look, man, I'm not even gonna lie to you. At the end of the night show on TNA, before Santino came out, I was very ready to come and sit in front of this mic and complain. But holy hell, no. I gotta take my words back. Again, let's just take a step back and let me walk you through it. So, in the main event of the night show on TNA, we had the Hardy Boys defending their tag team championships against the Cologne Brothers. Fortunately, the match ends in disqualification after the entirety of the system come out to attack the Hardy Boys, so naturally, all of the Hardy Boys' allies come out to save them being Joe Hendry, Elijah, Leon Slater, all those guys, right? And in my head, I'm thinking like, we've seen all of this before. Not this exact iteration, but like 5 months ago, we saw the system versus the Hardys and Joe Hendry, and at that time Santana, and it feels like we just keep coming back to this. But then Santino comes out and announces we're going to get this match in a steel cage. The first steel cage match in TNA in over 5 years, apparently, which is insane. But here's the thing, I don't want it to just be a steel cage match. It has to be a lethal lockdown match. It just has to be. Lethal Lockdown is such an iconic thing in TNA. It used to be one of my favorite matches in TNA. I want to see that back. I want to see this entire 5-on-5 match be in a Lethal Lockdown match. Let's make it happen. And even then, afterwards, let's bring back Feast or Fired. I want to see Feast or Fired again. That was also one of my favorite things to watch as a kid on TNA. Let's bring all of these stuff back, please. But that definitely made the main event worth it for me. And just the entirety of tonight's show, it blended in so nicely. So, because at the start of the show, we had Elijah defeating Brian Myers from the system. Again, it tied into the main event. So after Elijah defeats Brian Myers, the system try to attack him, but Joe Hendry comes out with his white guitar and he saves Elijah. Pretty cool. Nothing much, a pretty good match. I really like the opener, and the crowd were reacting very well to Elijah, which I'm very happy about. I'm not sure if he's signed full time or not, but if he's not, they should really sign him to a contract because I think he's been doing really good in TNA and he's blended in really well. After that, we get another first class penthouse segment, and let's end it, bro. I mean, for real, this first class segment stuff, it's not entertaining to me. Like, AJ Francis is really entertaining, but this first class penthouse stuff, it's not it. It's just not it. Luckily, Steve Macklin comes out to save us all from our misery, and he sets up a match with AJ Francis for later tonight. Pretty exciting matchup, and I'm surprised with the result because AJ Francis actually defeated Steve Macklin. Now, storyline wise, this makes sense very much because during the match, Eric Young and the Northern Army came out to distract Steve Macklin, and that allowed AJ Francis to pick up the victory. A very much needed victory for AJ Francis, seriously. But I'm happy with that. I love AJ Francis. I'm the first person you're gonna get on the AJ Francis bandwagon to push him for a world championship run. So let's just get that. Then we go backstage a bit later, and Eric Young is trying to make Steve Macklin join, but he's not having it. He doesn't want to be in this. And then Frankie Kazarian is also there, and he's like, why are you pushing away the only guy that cares about you? And we're probably gonna get Steve Macklin versus Frankie Kazarian at the next pay-per-view, because I don't think we're gonna push this Eric Young and Steve Macklin match yet. I don't know. Either way, we're gonna get Frankie Kazarian versus Steve Macklin in the near future. Can't say I'm excited about that. But just this whole storyline with Eric Young and Steve Macklin, I've enjoyed it so much. I've enjoyed this new, invigorated Eric Young. I enjoy the past between him and Steve Macklin. It's just been a really entertaining story for me, and I'm really invested in it. And since we're talking about the Northern Armory right now, later on in the night, they have a match against the Rascals and Ace Austin, which they end up winning because Wesley and Tyson and Tyree come out to distract the Rascals, allowing Eric Young and the Northern Army to win. I'm so over this. Like, again, I really enjoy Eric Young and the Northern Army. I'm glad they got the victory, but this whole Rascals and Wesley thing, it's so overdone, man. Like, for the last 3-4 weeks, all of their matches have ended up in distractions and them costing each other matches. And it's fine to an extent, but not when it's every week. Do something different. Do something interesting. Do something innovative that's like, oh damn, this is cool. I didn't see this coming. Or like, wow, this is a new way for him to cost someone else. Like, didn't they talk about taking the treehouse a while back? Did Wesley not say he's going to take the Rascals' treehouse? Give us like a segment where they go and burn down the treehouse or something like that. Just stop giving us interferences after interferences because it's not entertaining anymore. And it's not that I'm hating this entire feud or trying to hate on this. It's just I want to see something different because even last week when Ace Austin fought Frankie Kazarian, Wesley distracted him and allowed Frankie Kazarian to get the victory. Another distraction. The week before that, same thing. Like, try to do something different and innovative, and if it's going to be a distraction, make it unique. But moving on from that, we have some lower mid-card women's matches. Savannah Evans picks up a victory against Xia Brookside. Like I said, just some women who don't really have anything going for them at the moment. But I'm glad Savannah Evans picking up the victory. We're giving some momentum to her. She also recently had a match against Masha Slamovich. So it seems like she's one of the women we're pushing now. And I'm fine with that. Like I said, I think she should join First Class. I think she would fit in well. Like this big, strong woman enforcer behind AJ Francis. It makes a lot of sense and would fit like their character. I could just imagine AJ Francis talking about how he's the most diverse faction in wrestling. That I think it would make a good fit and would give some personality to Savannah Evans. I mean, look how well Tasha Steelz is doing with Mustafa Ali. Do the exact same thing. And all throughout the night, we also had some segments between Spitfire and the By Elegance brand. Since the By Elegance brand have to be Spitfires like slaves, they're owned by Spitfire now. And it's really funny. I liked it. I was hoping we'd get this, and we did. And I'm not going to complain about this. Then we have a match between Mike Santana and John Skyler of the Great Hands. And this was a pretty solid match. Santana ends up defeating John Skyler. And after the match, he gets attacked. And he managed to overpower the Great Hands. And since they attacked him, he decided, well, now I'm going to brutally beat you down. And then Mustafa Ali appears on a Titantron, and he says that Santana has been randomly chosen to take a drug test. And we get some stuff later with that. I'm just going to say, this whole Santana and Mustafa Ali feud, it's been great. I hate using this word, I hate it when other people use it, but it's really been cinema. I've enjoyed every single piece of this. It's just been so entertaining and so different. Like, this is what I want from Wesley and the Rascals feud. Like, stuff like this, where it's actually trying new stuff and they're actually pissing each other off. Because this feels like a blood feud. Like, Santana versus Mustafa Ali, that match is going to be brutal. And what we know from Santana, he's actually going to freaking kill Mustafa Ali once they meet in the ring. I'm so hyped for this. We also have a small backstage skit where Matt Hardy basically announces his team. And Ryan Nemeth is trying to say, no, me and my brother will be helping you. But then Matt Hardy calls Nick Nemeth, and Nick Nemeth is like, yeah, okay, I'll join. And unfortunately, Ryan Nemeth can't join because there's not spot anymore for him. And that really makes him upset. And, you know, I'm really curious to see how this goes. Somehow Ryan Nemeth is going to get involved. Either he's going to cost them the match by trying to help, or he's going to attack Nick Nemeth and we're going to jump to that feud. Either way, it's going to be something interesting. And I'm actually interested in seeing a Nick Nemeth versus Ryan Nemeth feud. Like, imagine 5 years ago telling people you're going to be interested in a Ryan Nemeth feud. They would have been like, the hell are you talking about, boy? Then we have a face-to-face between Moose and Obafemi. And Moose makes sure to bring a lot of security to stand between him and Obafemi. And as the thing goes along, this whole thing falls apart. This whole face-to-face falls apart. And Moose is like, hey, all the security are tonight honorary members of the system, and they all attack Obafemi, but he runs through them and he just throws them apart. And then the rest of the members of the system try to attack Obafemi, and he just throws them away too. Unfortunately, he can't get past Moose, and Moose stands tall holding both championships, which, if you know anything about wrestling, means he's absolutely losing. He's absolutely losing next week. No way he's gonna win now. Overall, I'm excited for this. It's a great build, a great go-home segment for next week's NXT Roadblock. NXT Roadblock might as well be that. Overall, genuinely excited for this match. It's probably the biggest match we can make with Obafemi at the moment. And just in general, next week for TNA and NXT is going to be a really big week. We're going to have Roadblock. Then we're going to have the TNA go-home show before their pay-per-view. And then we're going to have their pay-per-view. Like, there's going to be a lot happening. And you better stay tuned because you know I'm going to cover all of it. And then the last segment of the night, because we already covered the main event, is Masha Slamovich coming out to talk about her match with Cora Jade. Cora Jade comes out and to have a bit of back and forth. And then Tessa Blanchard jumps Masha from behind. And they lay a beatdown on her until Lei Ying Lee comes out. And she clears the ring from Tessa and Cora. Kind of felt weird that someone like her can like send away Cora and Tessa Blanchard. But it's fine. They're chicken shit heels and Lei Ying Li is a strong babyface. It makes sense. I can't complain. Then you have a face-to-face with Savannah Evans. No way, man. Masha Slamovich and Lei Ying Li facing off Tessa Blanchard and Cora Jade standing on the ramp. Probably gonna be a tag team match next week. I'm okay with that. And that's how the show ended. I would give this show tonight probably a 7 out of 10. Like, perfectly okay. There wasn't anything to me that really stood out. There wasn't really anything that stood out a lot besides the announcement of the cage match, Lethal Lockdown match. Come on, TNA, figure your shit out. That's all that really stood out to me about tonight's show. But besides that, I think it was overall just a good episode of TNA. Like, one of those episodes that you just sit down, you watch, and you have fun with TNA. Nothing major, but again, that's okay. You need those episodes. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe. It would mean so much to me. I cover TNA and NXT weekly. And since next week is going to be a very big week, you should probably stay tuned because I'm going to keep you up to date. And I'm going to be the first one to cover all of it. So, you should probably subscribe. It would be in your best interest. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.